Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome. This is another specific message for specific individuals. But if you've come across this video by chance, do have a listen because there may be something in here for you. I was basically used as a channel by Spirit in the wee hours of the morning to get this text down, and what I did is I just grabbed my phone and just started typing because it was the quickest, easiest way rather than getting up pad and pen, blah blah blah. So I just did it right where I was and it just flooded through. And so it's for people who are particularly heart-centered. So caregivers, people who usually see the best in people. If you've had or have a pattern in your life, in your behaviours, where you see the best in people and you relate to that part of them, you know how good they can be because you can see it in them. But what they're actually doing, their actual actions, is like they're kicking and screaming and causing you and those around them pain and themselves pain and discomfort. When you can see it doesn't need to be that way. That if they just settle down, or if they just see how much they're loved, or if they just see how much see things from a different point of a different angle. Instead of always looking at the cup half empty, look at it half full, or that it is full, then they won't need to carry on in a destructive manner the way they are. And so you are someone who's very tolerant of people, very forgiving, and you give them chance after chance after chance. And actually when things go wrong within your relationship, or it could be a sibling, it could be your an interpersonal relationship, or your relationship with a parent or a friend. It doesn't matter how this relates to you. It's about the patterns that Spirit's wanting to address today. But when you, it's the type of person where you are when the other person presents a problem and they're behaving badly or not in their best, their highest form, you instantly want to solve things, fix things, make it all better for them, and just make life better in general for everyone around you. So you may identify as an empath. You may not even know what an empath is. That's fine. Either way, if you relate to the pattern, then this is for you. So you just want to make things better for people, and you tend to overlook their bad behaviour, or in the past you have tended to overlook bad behaviour because you know this person's capable of better behaviour, because you can see the light within them, their potential and whatever. And so you forgive, you might over-explain yourself, you might actually over-give to them as well in terms of your energy, your time, your patience. Because it's just like, if I can just get them to see how loved they are, how much they should be loving on themselves, because they're amazing people, then they don't need to put themselves and everyone else around them through trauma and pain and discomfort, chaos. If you relate to that, then this is definitely for you. Cross-watchers, you're welcome. If you are the person that's been causing the chaos in your own life and in the lives of those around you, people who love you, and you don't understand why you're doing that, then might be worth you. If you come across this by chance, then there's something in it for you. So I'm just going to read it. And then, as I've just done now, I'll probably say something in the end as well, because there is, since I've written this, Spirit's given me a bit more, so I'll add that on the end, and then we'll just do a little 3-card spread as well, just for confirmation and clarity Okay, so it's gonna sound like I'm reading it for the first time, and I may stumble on my words and stuff like that, but just bear with me, and the message should come through. Spirit's saying to me, there's something in the tone of my voice that may provide some healing through sound and tone as well. I don't know why they're telling me to say that now. It sounds very egotistical on my part, but there's something in the tone coming through my voice through this video that will help people to unlock something where you'll start getting epiphanies or pennies dropping, and things will start to make sense for you. Either way, I hope this is a healing experience for you. And bear with me, I shall start. So they got me to title it Empaths, Discernment, a Lesson Learned. And they said, we're not beating around the bush with this one. Very specific message, meant for very specific souls. And here we go. When you give lower vibrational people, and this is not coming from a place of judgment, okay? But when you give lower vibrational people too much importance or power in your life, you will live to regret it. Sooner or later, they will abuse it, and abuse or betray you, be disloyal and dishonest. This is because not only have they not earned the privilege, but they are not equipped to do the privilege justice. They are not equipped to handle the responsibility honourably. Hence, you will always be hurt and disappointed if you allow this dynamic to play out. How did you get in this mess? By not coming from a balanced place within yourself. The Creator gave us big, beautiful hearts, and that's what makes us empaths. But the Creator also gave us big, beautiful wit, W-I-T. You know the saying, have your wits about you. When there isn't a balance between your heart and your wit, you are willingly, trustingly, perhaps naively, willingly, trustingly, perhaps naively empower them with more responsibility over your life, or your heart, or your stability, or your peace, or your path forward, your sole purpose or mission, than they are equipped to handle honourably. An overactive heart chakra will lead you to only see the best in people, to ignore their unsavoury actions or falsities, because you're not relating to the person, you're relating to the amazing potential you see within them, the highest version of them. And perhaps you see all their flaws, or their deep self-loathing or unhappiness, and allow them in too deeply, so that you can look after them, heal them, help them to love themselves and see their own potential. If they can't even see or sense their higher selves, how on earth are they going to be able to live up to your high-minded assumptions about them? So next time you feel hurt, disappointed or betrayed, etc., say to yourself, oopsies, I've given this person more responsibility than they are capable of honouring, and I've let the cat in amongst the pigeons. I'm sure you've all heard that saying before. What happens when you put a cat in amongst the pigeons? So just take it as an oopsie moment rather than being too hard on yourself. And then proceed to lighten their load, relinquish their burdens, and work out where they need to be within your life. Usually the answer is outside of your inner circle. Then ask yourself how many times you want to repeat that lesson. Look around you and you will see where more discernment and boundaries are needed. This will sharpen your wit. If it doesn't, your wit will be sharpened over time by the repeated pain and disappointment you experience, which is called learning the hard way. There's nothing wrong with that. We all have free will and we all live and learn at our own pace, but you have a choice. Don't let someone's deeply buried inner beauty or potential disengage your ability to observe their actions. and use your discernment to respectfully put boundaries in place, hopefully before they can do too much damage. We can get ourselves into a mess with lower vibrational people because when we see behind the falsities, the mask they may be wearing to pretend they are better people than they actually are, or when we see the destructive tact they're taking, or patterns of abuse or bad behaviour, we don't choose to put ourselves first. We unconsciously choose to abandon ourselves because of our past unresolved traumas, where we were abandoned and we put their needs before ours. We place priority on over-explaining ourselves or solving a problem they are creating, on trying to get them to see how they could behave better in order to get better outcomes, instead of choosing ourselves by stepping back and assessing whether boundaries are needed for our own betterment and theirs. Those boundaries may be temporary or permanent depending on their actions moving forward, but either way, having your own back instead of trying to prove to them that you have their backs covered will always work out best for you, no matter what they do. Setting them free or giving them boundaries is not only an act of self-preservation for you, but it empowers them to use their free will to have as many experiences as they need to have in order to learn how to truly love themselves and align more with their higher selves, the highest version of them. This actually sets you free as well. As you create energetic distance between you both, you are setting down their energetic burdens and not being as empathically engaged with them. This means you're no longer feeling their stuff, their dense, heavy stuff, and no longer transmuting it for them. It's like you've been doing their homework for them. Hand it back to them so they can learn for themselves. Otherwise, you're just enabling them to stay stuck where they are. Without appropriate boundaries, you are taking responsibility for them energetically, and their burdens become yours as you empath them and transmute their energy. If you continue to overlook their dense actions, you're enabling them to remain as they are. So always do what you need to do for yourself and give or allow them to do what they need to do for themselves. I'm going to read that sentence again because there's something more in that. So always do what you need to do for yourself and give or allow them to do what they need to do for themselves. You can't do it for them. It's not your responsibility or life purpose. Avoid self-abandonment by making better choices for yourself moving forward and continuing to invest in yourself. And that's it. There is more, and I will give that to you in a sec. So some people may react to this, and I shouldn't be concerned about how people react to anything that comes from spirit, but some people may be thinking, oh, well, you know, that's not very nice, telling people to put themselves first. You may struggle within yourself and feel like you're a selfish person, a bad person, someone who's not using their God-given gifts to help people if you put yourself first. No, it's about having your wits about you, and it's about you keeping safe from danger. And how can it be dangerous? It can be dangerous because it can be the process of you over-engaging, over-helping, getting over-involved with people who are just never going to see things from your perspective, are just never going to see the higher perspective, are never going to allow love in, and are never going to be able to reciprocate that love. And again, it's any kind of relationship that it could be parent, friend, lover, whatever. The more you invest in that, the deeper you go into a mess and you're going into lower vibrational energy. So that will stop and block what you're supposed to be experiencing from the divine. It takes your focus away from you and your path, where you just keep getting higher and higher and higher and stronger and stronger and stronger and clearer and clearer and clearer. And it makes you focus on a problem instead, where in actual fact, what you're trying to get them to do is not look at everything like it's a problem. Don't find a problem where there is none. Find love and light. Yeah, that's what you're trying to teach them. But they need to learn it through their life experiences. Some people learn through understanding of the mind, through epiphanies and blah, blah, blah. Other people need to literally put their hands in the fire and get burnt 15 times before they realise fire hot, right? Fire hurts. Does it make sense? Your insistence on continuing to help people who are unwilling to help themselves and unwilling to adapt to change, to take in a higher frequency, a higher understanding even of themselves and their lives, to deal with their past traumas that causes them to behave destructively. Your insistence on continuing to try to help, that's like what I just said in terms of you keep putting your hand in the fire. Because if you sit back and observe, that person needs to be allowed, I guess, the privilege or the opportunity to go about their lives doing things the way that they're doing it and learning however if it's the hard way, then they'll learn the hard way. Some people learn quick after a few kicks in the bum from the universe, others don't. And so the extra bit that Spirit gave me this morning while that was printing was that these people we're talking about in these times now, particularly for this last quarter of 2025, but if you're watching this in 2040, you're meant to see it at that time. But particularly in this time, people are not going to be able to get away. It's going to become more difficult for people to get away with their old tricks. So the empaths, the caregivers, have gone through pain through the discovery of this pattern I've just described to you. And we've got now medicine from the universe. It's like, wake up. You're not meant to be self-sacrificing constantly for people who will just take and take and take all the help you can give them, but then won't respect it or won't use it to actually change. You're just enabling them. You're meant to be doing what you need to do for yourself so that you can continue to grow. And lead by example, if that's one way to look at it. We're not supposed to get in the mud and get dirty. So just like we've learnt our lessons, or are learning our lessons in that regard, those people, the lower vibrational people who create chaos everywhere they go, will getting their medicine now too. They've either it's been happening, or is happening now, or it's about to happen. This final quarter actually led Spirit saying to me even up to January, March of 2026, and so for some people longer. But there will be a process which has already commenced for some people, where they will start to find that the avenues that they had available to them in terms of behavioural avenues. So it's like some of them know that if A, B and C happens, I know what to do, I'll just go this way. If D, E, F happens, I know what to do, I'll just go this. That's not going to work anymore. Their formula for how to conduct themselves based on certain criteria or environmental factors is not going to work anymore. And they're going to find it more and more difficult to get away with what they used to be able to get away with. And I don't mean that as every one of them is intentionally knowing full well what they're trying to get away with. Some people believe themselves to be very good people, and they are. That's why we've been trying to help them, right? But they exhibit behaviours which help them to avoid the discomfort of having to face their unresolved pain, unexpressed pain, unresolved trauma. You are the way you are because you face that stuff on the daily, willingly, and with gratitude. There's a lot of people, and this is what keeps them in lower vibrational frequency, is that they don't want to face that stuff. They don't want to feel their pain. They don't want to grow and change by looking into that dark side of them and bringing light into it. You know, that saying, we shed light on things. If you've got things tightly locked away that you just never want to go anywhere near or experience or whatever, some people might be thinking that they're actually going to therapy and getting help with that, but it's the type of therapy they're doing is not quite right for them. Maybe it worked to help make them feel better for a little bit a long time ago, and so they've just continued on with it. They need to try something different, because when that vault is kept in the dark of all the pain and trauma and whatever unresolved stuff, we need to open the vault and let light in, shed light on it. Go, okay, this is what I experienced. This is how it made me feel. How do I look at it through today's eyes? How do I feel about it today? Who do I need to forgive? Myself, the person who did this to me, whatever it is. Whatever it is. I know that I was not feeling loved in my childhood, so today as an adult, I'll give myself everything that I thought I never had. And it's not about physical things, material things. That might help, but it will be, I will be there for myself and nurture myself and do right by myself and invest in myself, so that I have today all of the love that I felt I lacked then. Does that make sense? So that kind of, I'm saying this, I guess, for people who don't know what to do to help themselves. So thank you, Spirit. So they are getting their medicine. They're going to find it more and more difficult to get away with, to continue to, whether it's delivered or not, they'll find it more difficult to stick to their old patterns of conduct, because the people around them, their tolerance will be less, or they're getting unexpectedly caught out with a fib, a little white lie, or they're getting called out by people on their behaviour, on their deceptive behaviour or their destructive behaviour or whatever it is. Like, they're going to get called out by the universe, and it'll be through the people around them. When they go to do something, they've always done it that way, it's always worked, so I'll do this. They'll be cut off at the path because someone will call them out on it. Or so if they're trying to get away with something, that other person will intuitively know, this doesn't feel right, no, I've changed my mind, I'm not going to do it. And then again, they're kind of left holding their own cards, if that makes sense. So there is lots of growth coming for them. Again, no one can predict, and certainly Spirit and the universe, Creator, does not have, cannot affect people's free will. So we're here on this planet or in this realm, whatever, however you want to describe it, and we have free will at play all the time. So spirit, universe can keep bringing us lessons. It starts with a whisper and ends with a scream in terms of the density of the lesson and the severity of the consequences. But it's up to us. Do we hear it at a whisper and change? Or do we keep experiencing it until it becomes glaringly obvious that this pattern we've been of behaviour we've been exhibiting really does not serve us or anyone around us, and so then we change. So it's the same with lower vibrational people, and when I talk in those terms, it's just for sake of ease. I'm not in judgment of anyone. I don't go walking around going, oh, there's a lower vibrational person. I'm talking about people who have unresolved issues, and so they're stuck. They might be distracted by materialism or chasing money. They might be just doing lower level stuff or living in a lower level way because they have unresolved stuff that they're not willing to face or that they haven't resolved yet, which enables higher thinking to start coming in. They act from a place of the pain that they haven't resolved yet. So there's no judgment here. So what was I trying to say? Yes, with them, it's free will. So, I could do cards and predict when your person or your family member or your whatever is going to go through this and change and whatever. But you can't place time on it because that person has free will. They can choose to keep effing up for as long as they like. It could be years, decades, months, days, minutes. And then they might just go, why am I doing this to myself? Yeah? They might feel the need to atone. They might these people are not usually very good at reflecting and nor taking accountability for their actions. So a lot through this process, Spirit's saying, is they'll get the mirror held up to their faces and it will be very, very uncomfortable for them. Right when they're at breaking point and can't take it anymore, Spirit will then, and I'm trying to refrain from laughing because those who have been through it know it, right? And then at your lowest, Spirit will come and bring the mirror right in front of their faces and say, now look at what you did. Look at who you did that to. Look at the pain you've continued to cause yourself and those around you, particularly those that are the least deserving. And these people may go through, they have the opportunity to go through a period of deep remorse, of deep reflection, like they've never been able to do before. Because what they tend to do is deflect and blame shift things onto other people, blame other people for, they'll justify their really crappy behaviour because it's your fault. You did this, or you're not doing what I want you to do, so I get to behave like this. Yeah, they are going to be put in a position that to have the opportunity to really take a deep look at themselves and hopefully have the fortitude to reassess their whole existence, the way that they're using their earthly bodies and minds. One can hope, right? Let's touch wood. So I'm going to quickly do So I guess what Spirit's saying is, don't worry about them. They've hurt you, let them go. If someone wants to come in, make a mess, and then storm off, let them go. And learn, why were they able to come in so deeply? Why were they able to cause so much havoc because you didn't have boundaries in place. You weren't having your wits about you to be able to recognise, whoa, Nelly, this person's coming in thick and strong and love bombing or whatever it is, but I need to watch them over the space of time to see which behaviours are consistent or which behaviours are prevalent across time. What are the repeating patterns with this person? Are they who they claim to be? Are they good for me? Whatever it is. Yeah? Which is a very Cancerian approach. Cancerians like to guard their home, whatever the space around their home is, their private life, they're very guarded. And people outside have to really prove themselves over time before they'll let them in deeper. And so we need to adopt, I don't know why that came forward, but that's where what Spirit's telling me to say. And so it's not about us walking around like bleeding hearts, just trying to save the world and really letting in people who haven't earned it or who are wearing a mask, and then we don't find out till later on when the mask drops inadvertently, and we say, they don't actually have our best interests at heart, or they're not actually being honest, or have they been honest the whole time, blah blah blah. So and then we go, bad. Like, we don't need to experience that. If your soul chooses to, awesome, great for you. But if you're wondering how they came swooping in so fast, created this mess, and then shot out the other end, that's how, because you haven't put the brakes on and made them prove themselves over time. You've let them in too fast. And even if you've done that and someone's come into your inner circle, at any time, if their behaviours change towards you, which is often what happens, you still get to reassess. You still get to say, okay, I'm going to take you from within my inner circle now because of your behaviours right now, and I'm going to create some boundary, some space. Yeah? So I won't be as open to this person. I won't be divulging, when they ask me how I am, I won't be divulging the ins and outs of my life and how I feel. I won't be making myself as vulnerable to this person because they're on the outer now. And over time, as their behaviour changes, the boundaries can dissolve and they can come back in. If they get worse, the further out they go. I hope that makes sense. I don't know why. Obviously, some people need to hear this. For those who don't need to hear it, and I'm telling you how to suck eggs, I apologise. But that's what's coming through in spirit. So, one more. Okay. So we have the Chariot, we have the Tower, and we have the Wheel of Fortune. So with the Chariot, I'm not going to look underneath the deck right now. The Chariot, it is in this regard about boundaries because it's about us recognising recognising which people or places or environments no longer serve us. So it could be a job that you're in that you need to move on from. It could be family members or friends or places where you go to entertain yourself. Relationships of any kind, really, where if you're needing to assess, hang on a minute, this isn't giving me what I need. This is causing me, the longer I stay here in this place or with this person or with these people or at this job, the more drained and tired I'm feeling and uninspired. And so I need to remove myself. I've got to jump on my Chariot and remove myself from this person, people, place or environment and move on. It could, for some people, it's moving house as well, and move on to and see what the opportunities before me are, and go and explore. It's that moment of recognizing, if I stay in this and nothing changes, I'm doing myself a disservice. And what happens when we choose that is that it takes, the longer we stay in that situation, it takes more and more and more of our energy and our available headspace to be able to stay there without having a nervous breakdown or being extremely unhappy. So it is about us recognising that and moving forward. A lot of people watching this may have felt that in the past, say 6 to 8 months, at the very least, where you felt like a need to separate yourself from people you've been associating with or environments you've been associating with, and moving away from it. And then we have the Tower. So this is representing a strong shift in awareness. It's like if you were wearing the rose-coloured glasses and always wanted to see the best in people, and always based your actions on your love for people, regardless of how badly and how destructively they're behaving, just giving people chance after chance after chance. This has come to an abrupt end where you've had to assess things and have a visitation, look at why you do the things that you do. This has been quite, I'm getting visually like an earthquake kind of scenario, like a cracking, like if it was a tower, it's like a real cracking through the tower, really cracking your psyche open in terms of the way that it's like, I can finally see what I've been doing. What I've been putting myself through by trying to serve people in this way, just as an example, right? I've been looking at this all wrong. This is like a sudden, shocking end to a way of thinking and patterns of behaviour, and also to whatever relationships or environments, people you were involved in. So it's been the energy of endings this year, and there's been a lot of moving on. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune, and so with the Wheel of Fortune, we have the opportunity. What it represents is that we have the opportunity to turn things for good, or keep going down the path we've been going at, or become destructive and really turn things for bad, if that makes sense. And there's no real good or bad, but there is as well. I'm not going to go into explaining that, but it really is like the power's in your hands now. You've either been cast out or removed yourself from situations that really were no longer for you, and learnt your lessons. And now it's like, where do you want to go from here? The Wheel of Fortune is turned in your favour, and so what do you want? The focus now is, what do I want? How do I want my life to be? The last video I did was about the Hierophant and the Emperor, and that was all about making your life how you need it to be, so it serves you. So if you haven't watched that, please watch that. I think it's called the Hierophant. That's all I remember from the title. Do watch that if you haven't, because that's what this is. This is opportunity for us to be resourceful, use our passion and our wit simultaneously to create the kind of life that we want to create. And it's not about making big, huge decisions necessarily. It can be just the gentle way we head down a different path, put it that way. Okay, and so now I'm going to look underneath, and we have the Hermit. So by this process that we've gone through, whereby we've been going through great transformation from the inside out, and while we've been going through that, we haven't been able to engage with the world and with people in it in the way that we used to. And so it actually has put us in hermit mode. What's looking at popping out there? Temperance. It puts us in hermit mode where we just need some buffer space and time away from people so that we can sink in, calibrate. I'm seeing like pins dropping into place, like Tetris sort of thing, where things fall into place within our minds, within our body, within our soul, where it's like receiving a new code for ourselves. And I talked about code of conduct in that video as well, in the Hierophant video. Please do watch it. Receiving new codes. So that sets us up to start moving differently and in a new direction, in a new way, right? In a higher way. So that's why at the base of all of this is being the Hermit. So if you know that you've spent way more time with yourself than you normally would, or you've been desiring to, or finding the time that you do have to yourself, particularly clarifying, purging, grounding, enlightening, this is why, because you're going through massive transformation so that you do things differently. But the good thing is that you've gotten away from influences in your life that served their purpose and no longer serve you unless they change. Does that make sense? So environments can change over time, right? People can change over time. It is possible. So, but the tower was meant to happen so that, was meant to happen because that was the universe saying, okay, you're both, or you and your environment, or you and your lover, or you and your family member, whoever it is that this is about, could be about a group of people that aren't even connected to each other. Could be a theme running in your life. Have gone as far down the path as you need to go. Like from what's happened to date, there's enough meat there for you to, or gems there for you to over time learn the lessons you've meant to have learnt from this. And because of that then allows us to go on a new path in a different way. And it's about, actually, it's funny because the energy I'm getting from the Wheel of Fortune is the opposite of the Hermit. So we had to go through Hermit mode, and a lot of us still are going through that. So don't feel like, oh, this part hasn't happened for me yet. Just go with the flow. Everyone's on a different timeline. So, but you will, the work that you're doing in Hermit mode will enable you to, if it hasn't already, to actually notice that when you are out in the world, you're much more confident, you're much more expressive, you're much more, you're just feeling much better within yourself and stronger and clearer, and you're expressive, and your knee-jerk reactions to things, your responses to things and people is just really good, way better than before, less timid, less reserved, less self-doubting, all that kind of stuff. So really a lot of growth. People worry about a 9-year, 2025 adds up to 9, being, that it's all about endings, but it's also about transformation and growth. It's about this pattern has been going on for, let's say, 9 years, for some people 7 years, or all your life, right? And the energetic influences coming from the universe are such at the moment that the universe is putting a stop to these old ongoing patterns that have always been there, that you've just been living through unconsciously, and they're making you finally conscious of it in somewhat of a shocking way to some people, so that you can move away from those old patterns and start to forge new ones that will really bring you, through the journey of self-reflection, bring you to a place of more confidence and clarity and strength and higher purpose. You're starting to recognize more what it is you need to do with your life, what you want to do, get excited again, rather than feeling bogged down with other people's stuff all the time, or whatever the pattern was for you. So I hope that all makes sense. I hope that I've been clear and done this opportunity to work with Spirit for you justice. And go in peace and have fun. Remember to have fun. Okay, bye.